Hey everybody, how are you today? I'm Shelly Palmer and this is Web3 Wednesday. We're here in New York City. It is very warm and kind of damp and icky. I think that's the way to describe it here, icky. Hello Bob K from Hollywood. Hey there from Detroit, Charlie from Grand Taunton Press. And I don't know if I ever spelled that right. Taunton? You probably should correct me. Steve Sobel, welcome. Welcome everybody. Joey's here to help get our questions on the screen. So if you have a question, it is Ask Me Anything kind of, it's an Ask Me Anything kind of Wednesday. Happy to talk to anyone about anything, anywhere. So much has happened this week. I just want to jump right in. Hey there, Alan Nodecki in LA. I bet it is. And hey there, Justin from Kansas. Glad you guys are all here. Seems like a really nice crowd. Please put your questions in chat and we will try to get them up on the screen. Nothing's off limits. I may not answer them all, but nothing's off limits. Let's see. First thing I want to start with today is this is cool. It's just I think everybody tries to increase their productivity any way you can. I learned about this new Google thing this morning. It's a way to wrangle your tabs and your history and your bookmarks. And what you do, I'm going to actually show you while we're waiting for everyone to show up this morning. Let me see if I can just grab this thing. So I have two tools I use, and people constantly ask me about productivity and what have you. So this is a thing called Schema, Scheema. You can get it in the Chrome store. And what this lets you do is grab a bunch of your tabs and just throw them into a web page that goes and gets all your tabs, and you can go and pull an open tab into there and say, well, I'm going to pull this tab in, and then it's going to close that Chrome tab and it's going to make it available to you so that when you click it, it happens. So I just did that with my Twitter account, and you'll see that Twitter just is clicked to open up. So that's Schema, and it's fine. It's a great way to sort of deal with the hundreds of Chrome tabs you have open. And you know that if you have a zillion Chrome tabs open, you understand that the big problem with a lot of Chrome tabs being open is that it really crushes your memory. Well, here, what Google will allow you to do is you can search your open tabs. So if I just put in an @ sign and tab and go to add something to it, it will allow me to, it puts up, I hope you can see it, it puts up this little search tab right here. It says search tabs, little button, so cool. And you press the button and it will now gives you a search tabs window, and let's MOVE to Dawn. That's a window I know I have open. So this is a story about Move to Dawn. Boom, takes you right to it. And I have like 90 Chrome tabs open here. So how cool is that? It also works with bookmarks. It also works with your history. So you can search your history, search your open tabs, and search your bookmarks using @ symbols. It's so unbelievably cool. What an amazing time saver. I know this is too geeked out for most of you, but I was so excited when I saw it. I just wanted to share it with everybody. It's really awesome in every way. If you haven't tried Schema, Scheema, I have no financial relationship with it, and it's free anyway. But Schema is actually super cool because you can create pages of pages, and you can also create workspaces where you have, like, for example, I'm working on my next AI book right now. So I've got all kinds, in fact, I think I just show it to you. Why do I have to talk about it? I'll just show you what it is. So like here is, this is Schema. And over here I have my AI research. So these are just pages I was pulling down. This one's about just what deep AI is, and just each of these is a Chrome tab that I would ordinarily have open. Jasper is over here, ChatGPT is over here, which we're going to talk about in a little while. And all of these are just articles that I either want to reference or have referenced or just want to keep in one place. And you know, you can also have like a separate workspace that you can make for anything, as many of them as you like. This is my research, starting my research on Stable Diffusion, the install that I have here. So you can just literally put anything in there that you want to put in there, and it gets it out of memory. It takes it away from Chrome, which makes your computer work faster, and that's actually the best part about it. Your computer will just work better because it frees up a lot of memory. Chrome, for reasons that Google has yet to explain to anybody satisfactorily, is an absolute memory hog, and the more Chrome tabs you have open, the more terrifying your computer experience is. So anyway, that's my Geek Out Productivity Tool Tip of the Day. I don't usually give them, but, I could not resist when I saw this. I wrote this morning's rant about it. Did I use ChatGPT to do this morning's rant? You'll never know. Never at all. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. This is, Chip P. Sure, this is the cue that came in just now. Is it going to end the world? Tom A. I'm sorry. I don't think it's going to end the world. I really don't. And Chip writes, did you write this morning's email or did ChatGPT write it? I don't know what I can believe anymore. Yeah, we're going to talk all about that in just a minute. By the way, if any of you are here with me today, all of you who are here with me today, first of all, thank you. E.B. Moss, welcome. And Steve, welcome. And Mary, welcome from San Diego. And Justin, good to see you from Kansas. I'm glad you guys are all here. You can get your POAP, shellypalmer.com/POAP. POAP, proof of attendance protocol token. Collect 5 of them. You can come to the cool kids parties at the things we throw at places like CES and Mobile World Congress and South by and various cities. We have salons on regular basis, and we also have some online events which might be easier for many of you to come to. Hey there, Randy. Welcome from San Luis Obispo, California. And David Hool, welcome. We are going to have a bunch of online events for the POAP holders because some of you aren't traveling or able to travel to as many places. So anyway, get your shellypalmer.com/POAP at shellypalmer.com/POAP and get involved with the offline stuff and some of the online stuff that we do. All right. Who wrote it? That's the biggest question. Who wrote it? Was it me or was it ChatGPT? That is an interesting question. Let's go to yesterday's blog post and see. This blog post was outstandingly fun to do. So what does it say? This was yesterday morning, I asked ChatGPT to, quote, write 200 words about why Facebook is warning it could ban news in the U.S. if Congress passes a bill that would require the platform to negotiate with and compensate publishers for their content. In the style of Shelly Palmer. And the reason that I asked ChatGPT to do it in my style is that the first time I did it, it got me like this really long, really large, like 8-paragraph essay that was super wordy, and it violated rule number 17 in Strunk and White. Everybody, 5 points to Gryffindor. If anybody can put in chat right now what Rule 17 from Strunk and White is. I'm going to tell you about it in a second, but please put that in chat. What is Rule 17, rule number 17 from the Elements of Style, the Strunk and White book? Okay, so it violated Rule 17, and I was having none of it. I will not allow Rule 17 to be violated, even by ChatGPT. So here's what it wrote. Hopefully you can see it, but I'm going to read a little of it just so you can feel what ChatGPT was able to write with that set of instructions. As Facebook faces increasing pressure from lawmakers and regulators over its handling of misinformation and other controversial content, the company has warned that it could ban news altogether in the U.S. if Congress passes a bill that would require it to negotiate with and compensate publishers for their content. So that's a restatement of my question to it. Could anyone have done it? Yes. Would I have written that? I absolutely would have written that first paragraph almost exactly that way. Let's move on. The proposed Journalism Competition and Preservation Act, which, by the way, I didn't mention at all, did not mention in any way. So I was pretty impressed by that. Would allow news publishers to collectively negotiate with online platforms such as Facebook and Google for compensation for their content, granting them an exemption from antitrust laws in the process. And then ChatGPT concludes, Facebook argues that this bill would fundamentally change the relationship between the platform and publishers, potentially making it impossible for the company to continue offering news content on its platform. This warning serves as a reminder of the growing tensions between the tech industry and the news media as they navigate the shifting landscape of digital content and advertising. Oh, come on. That is just mind-blowingly good. Is it astoundingly good? Yes, it is astoundingly good. What possible value could that have to me? I write somewhere between 300 and 500 words every single morning. Every morning. It wrote the research I would have to do, paraphrased the stuff I had to do. Like, wow, that's a time saver. Now, it didn't have any snark. And why did I tell it to do it in the style of Shelly Palmer? Well, two reasons. One, the first thing it wrote was like I said, violated Rule 17 of Strunk and White. Oh, Steve, oh, I hope I'm going to pronounce your last name right. Aznunian? I know that's wrong. I'm sorry, Steve. But you'll all see his name in chat. Rule 17. I'm going to just cut to the chase. Omit needless words. Oz. Great. Steve Oz. Perfect. Omit needless words. Omit needless words. Omit needless words. And so that's what I like to do in all my writing. I try to take out every extra every extra clause. Like, I just try to make my writing as tight as possible and as sort of active tense as humanly possible. Just get up and be as just tight as I can, because I know I want to respect people's time. No one has time to read the stuff I write, and if you do give me just a few seconds, I'm trying not to waste anybody's time. So the first run violated that Rule 17, and also my own aesthetic sensibility was like, yeah, okay, some 7th grader wrote this. Then I remembered, and literally it was like a weird eureka moment. I've got over 19,000 blog posts online. Like, if you go to my WordPress site, shellypalmer.com, if you go to shellypalmer.com and you just click the blog, you can scroll back to the beginning of the World Wide Web. You can scroll back, I think, to articles that go at least to the modern era, and possibly as far back as 2000. Like, way back. There are really just a lot. So I do have a writing style that has evolved over time, but is generally super terse and super tight. I don't tend to write a lot of flowery prose. So I just said, just on a whim, maybe this thing has read enough of the internet to know who I am, because I do have a substantive amount of writing on the internet, tens of thousands of articles, and I'm going to argue hundreds of thousands of words. I don't know what the actual number is, but it's a big count. So when it came back with this. And I was like, guys, it actually sounds like me. That freaked me out. And especially because I know how I would have crafted some of those sentences. And I also didn't have to go online and like, look what I knew. There was a law pending. I didn't remember the name of the act. I just knew it was happening. And I had seen, like, somebody texted me, hey, Shelly, do you know this is happening? It's like, yeah, I do know it's happening. And on just a whim, I wrote to GPT-3. I wrote into it, hey, Facebook's warning it could ban news if Congress passes a bill that would require it. I literally personally did not remember at the time I wrote this prompt what the name of the law was. I didn't have to look it up. Wow. This is profound. It's just profound. So yeah, if you are, if you haven't got, you just go to Chat GPT and start using it. You just log in, get an account, and start using it. It works in the form of a chatbot. So let me see if I can just put that up right here. I think it's chat.openai.com. Let me see if I can just get this up for you guys right here, because it'd be fun if I could. Yeah, so you can see it's like, this is just a straight up chatbot. How do you code a image tag in HTML? I mean, I'm just asking stupid things right now. Oh, we're experiencing a exceptionally... Oh, wait, there it is. Boom. Boom. Now, that's the same as a search, except the difference is, you could ask it anything. Give me 100 words about Meta and Facebook and why it's not doing so well right now. I'm just making this up. No reason I think that's a good or a bad thing for it to write. And we'll see if it comes back with anything. Right now it's thinking. So when it comes back with whatever it's coming back with, I'll let you know, because they say they're experiencing difficulties in their It says, we're experiencing exceptionally high demand. Please hang tight as we work through our scaling our systems. As you know, my reach is so vast that clearly we just caused that here at Web3 Wednesday live on here on YouTube. But go there, and when it's loosened up, I have not seen that error message before. They must really, really be getting an awful lot of requests. The system is truly stunning, and I want everyone to understand this is the beginning of this. It's not where it's going. This isn't a finished product. It's not close to a finished product. It's not close to a finished product. This is the earliest possible day in the evolution of this technology. Can you imagine what this is going to be like a year from now? Chris from Las Vegas, welcome. Chris just said, I love Las Vegas, CES is coming. We'll talk about CES a little bit for a second. CES is coming. It's my favorite thing to do ever, always, every year. And of course, we've been, they canceled the 21 show and made it only online. And then the show for 22 was a hybrid show, but it was very underattended because it was the height of the Omicron COVID variant part of the pandemic, and people were scared to travel. It's back in person this year. They'll do it online as well, which I'm excited about. They're doing both. We do these tours. I lead executive tech briefings and tours around CES, and we offer them to our clients. 15 to 18 people get together in a group, and we get some headsets on, and we walk around the floor and talk about what's new, what's next, and what it means for your business. Been doing this since 1996. It's really fun, super fun for us to do. So we're excited about CES, and we're excited about the online thing. What happened over the last couple of years is we've evolved an online version of these tech briefings and floor tours. So if your company is into that and you want to know what's new, what's next, what it means for your business, but you're not going to CES, we can hook you up. It'll be our pleasure to do that. CES is going to be very interesting this year, but just Chris reminded me that this past January, I always say last year, but it was January of 2022, we did our Innovation Series Summit, as we always do, and I did a little 10-minute kind of introductory keynote to that summit. And if you go to ces22.shellypalmer.com, you'll see the video there. It's on YouTube and it's bookmarked. It's my keynote. About 3 minutes into it, I used a company that had crafted an AI model that was able to take about a half a dozen samples of Carl Sagan's voice and have it read a paragraph that he wrote but never spoke. And so I took some pictures of Carl Sagan and I just made a montage like your classic Ken Burns documentary montage. And I had the synthetic Carl Sagan read this passage from one of his writings. It was stunningly good for what it was, but you still knew that it was a synthetic voice. As much as it may have sounded like Carl Sagan, it wasn't Carl Sagan. But I just saw the de-aged Harrison Ford trailer for the next Indiana Jones movie, and it's that level of deep fake technology is coming, and it's coming strong. So what we said was going to happen is happening. What we talk about at CES does matter. What the insights that we gain from learning about technology far and wide, while any one technology might just be incremental, people constantly say, oh, well, I know it's going to be at CES. TVs are going to be thinner, a little thinner, and they're going to have brighter, better screens, and you know they'll be a little more energy efficient, and the phones will be a little thinner, and they'll have longer battery life, and they'll have slightly better screens. So what? Well, so what is that when you take all these technologies and you put them together and you go cross-discipline and you add all of these tools in total or in aggregate, what you see is a new level of consumer empowerment and a new way for businesses to create emotionally satisfying environments for people and new experiences. And that's what we always see at CES. So if you're not going to go, we can certainly hook you up with an online tour for your company. But if you are going to go, or you're just on the fence about going, the thing you get at CES is this visceral understanding, this ability to just know, to use your brain to pattern match. It's unspoken. It is really something you feel. There's an energy around certain companies, and there's less energy around other companies, to be fair. But it helps you understand where the wisdom of the crowd is taking you. And it's such a powerful experience. I don't think it should be missed if you can avoid it. Obviously, not everyone can go. Not everybody will go. It's not as important to everybody. We try to recreate that online. So you can reach out to us. ces.shellypalmer.com is, I think, wait, can I put that up? Do I have it? I do. ces.shellypalmer.com is the URL you can go to. If you add any number after the CES, like ces22.com, you can see our Innovation Series Summit and the offerings from 22. CES 21 will give you the 21, 20 will give you 20. You're getting the drift, right? It goes back pretty far. But for right now, if you want to learn about what we're about to do in January from the 3rd to the 8th in Las Vegas, Nevada, just go to ces.shellypalmer.com. We would love to talk to you about what's going to happen there. Super fun stuff. All right, moving on. Speaking of things that are interesting and important and fun, we're getting a lot of Chat GPT questions. All right, before the Chat GPT question, here's my request. This is an ask. There are a bunch of you here. Here's my ask. Take a picture of the screen. Do something cool. Not this second. Don't take a picture of this screen. But like at Shelly Palmer. Like just at Shelly Palmer on Twitter. I know Elon's crazy. I know there's all kinds of weirdness with Twitter. But you guys tend not to tweet. So at Shelly Palmer, like tweet. Tweeting is great. Say something interesting. Talk about hashtag Web3 Wednesday, all one word, as a hashtag. Do not put at Shelly Palmer in the front part of your tweet. And if you do, put a period in front of it, because a lot of you like go at Shelly Palmer, then only I see it. Like, do Twitter like the way you're supposed to do Twitter. Just say something. It could be good or bad. If you think this sucks, then say, wow, watching Shelly Palmer, he's wasting my time. That's okay. I'll take it. Like, I'm a big boy. I don't think I'm wasting your time. But if I am, let me know. And by the way, if you're liking this, then let us know that too. And let the people in the universe know it, because it'd be very helpful. Okay. So, David H. says, how do you get it and use it? How do you get it and use it? And I assume what you mean by how do you get it and use it is Chat GPT, and you go to chat.openai, with a nice company that makes it, .com, and sign up. You have to sign up and get an account. Let's see what the next question is. Can chatbot be used to write term papers, Bob K? Oh. This is going to profoundly change the way school is done. Profoundly change. I cannot imagine a time when students will be allowed to do a paper not in class now. You're going to have to sit there, hand them a Chromebook that you issue to them, or put some insane restrictions on the network and tell students, okay, now we're going to write that book report about Daniel Boone or whatever, because there's just no way in the world. When you run the prose through a plagiarism checker, and there are many, it comes back as original. Like, the plagiarism checkers have no idea it's written by a machine and have no idea it's not original. Not a good way to teach students to write, which, come on, screams, raises the question in every way. What is the baseline of education we now need for someone attending school? Let's think about this for a second. It's like, I mean, thank you for the question, Bob K., because this question is deep. When I was in school, they taught American history. We had like 5 minutes of civics, like how the government works, and years of what color was George Washington's white horse, and what did James Madison do, and and he was the author of the Constitution, and there's not even a statue to James Madison anywhere, and he's the 4th president, he's an amazing guy, and blah blah blah. I mean, remember these little facts from grade school and junior high school. If you type into Google in 1490 something, Columbus did something, and you spell it all wrong, Google is going to put up in 1492 Columbus sailed the ocean blue. Flat out, no questions asked. No questions asked. So facts and figures, if you ask Google what, any way you ask it, whether you're asking it through Hey Google, whether you're asking it by typing, whether you're using voice, it'll make a difference. What was Derek Jeter's batting average in a given year? It's going to tell you. Every bar fight is settled by Google. Google doesn't even have the whole internet. They just have the stuff that's public. Here, you've got an AI model that's learning every single day to write. Like what I didn't show you is that at the end, and what I did for, and I should have kept a copy of it, I wrote the blog post I would have written as the answer to that prompt directly into the, after you hit the like button in Chat GPT, it asks you, how good did you do? What would have, how, and to train it, you put in whatever you think would have helped train the model to do better. So I wrote, I don't know, maybe 100 words about what I would have written and how to help it be better at what it did. This model learns. So if it learns, what do we need to learn? We meaning humans. What do we need to teach our children? What's the baseline of education? Is it 8th grade? Do you need reading, writing, arithmetic, and social studies? And how much of it? Should you know calculus? If you're an engineer, do you need to know how to write code now? Because you can have it write in Python or JavaScript or Java or Rust or anything else you tell it to write, and it'll start to write. It's writing code all day long. Now I just need to understand what I'm trying to accomplish. Think about that for a minute. All of a sudden, the tools are helping me accomplish an outcome, and I'm not overcoming my human shortcomings to accomplish that outcome. Let me try and put this in context for you for a second. When I learned to play my first instrument, which was, well, I banged on the piano my whole early life, but sometime in grade school, someone handed me a clarinet, and it was formal music. I think it was 3rd grade, like formal music education, school music education. And the teacher said, copy this, play like this, do it like this, and taught me to, and there was a little book, and you read the book, and you played your clarinet, and ultimately I learned to play by copying my teacher. But I developed a style. Those of you who know me know I started in the music business, so I play woodwinds, saxophones of all flavors, flute, clarinet. Mostly I'm a woodwinds and percussion guy. I play some keyboards, and I'm a composer-producer by trade. I spent most of my time composing. But when I was playing, my performance skill, whatever level it is absolutely the result of my ability to listen, learn, and mimic my teachers and mimic great musicians that I could hear on recordings or from concerts or just be in the presence of, and my own physical limitations. The instruments don't play in tune automatically. A saxophone needs to be coerced into playing in tune when using your lips and the power of your breath and your ears, and you kind of make every note in tune because you make every note in tune. And that develops your musical style, and it's unique to you because everybody's physiologically a little different. Everybody's got different motor skills, and everyone's got different hearing, and everyone's got different physical control of their fine motor skills as well as their breath and what have you. So that's, when you put all that together, it's called your style. That is your style as a musician. It's you overcoming the obstacles, the hurdles thrown at you by physics. The instrument only does this. You have to make it do more. The instrument, you press a key, but that's very different from playing it musically. And so how will you approach it? When you play softly, what is that? When you play loud, what is that? And so these are the obstacles that humans overcome, and you can take that metaphorically into fine art. You can take it metaphorically into any skill you ever have to learn. You are overcoming something in order to do it. Now I just have to be able to think it up and tell an AI model what I want. How empowering is that? If you're a young creative, and you haven't been able to spend the time and energy to learn to play an instrument well, or learn to type properly, or learn to write, study the rules of grammar. I mean, it doesn't matter what. Add the obstacle and now take it away. And what you need is a vision for the outcome you seek. Mission, vision, and values. Vision, mission, and values. My vision is I envision a world that does blank. My mission is to get us there. And here's how, under this value system. And instead of having to overcome the obstacles of your physiology and your lack of understanding of certain technical obstacles and your inability to necessarily beat the laws of physics into submission because of the thousands of hours you've practiced, you get to talk about it, and an AI model realizes it for you. It's a brave new world. I've been talking about this for years, but yesterday morning was the first time I ever used it commercially in a way that was emotionally satisfying for me. And I mean truly emotionally satisfying, where I said, you know what? This is going to work. This is an actual time saver. This is going to change my workflow and process. And as I have said 1 zillion, billion, trillion times, technology is meaningless unless it changes the way we behave. Pretty interesting. Yeah, pretty interesting. So let's see what else happened. I mean, I got off on a tangent there. I know that, but this really excited me. I got to just say, this really, truly excited me. Don't forget your POAP. If you want your proof of attendance protocol token, don't forget to go to shellypalmer.com/POAP, and don't forget to tweet while we're at it. Okay, this was interesting. Coinbase Wallet. We're just switching gears completely. Coinbase Wallet, which is associated with, but not, I believe it's not owned by Coinbase, has an app, Coinbase Wallet, and it's a crypto wallet. And Apple made them take the feature out where you could send an NFT to a friend, or to someone else for that matter, because they wanted a piece of the gas fees. In fact, they wanted 30% of the gas fees. And it's like, that's a little bit crazy. And I wondered out loud, and I wondered in writing, and I've asked some questions and got the answer, by the way. When you send a wire transfer, it's going to cost you, from a bank, like your regular bank, unless you've got some special deal with the bank or a special dispensation or some free promo, it's about $25 to $35 to wire transfer some like money through the normal wire transfer system. Apple doesn't get a cut of that. So when I wire something through my banking app, so I open up, my bank account app with a online banking app, I wire money, they don't get a piece of the transaction. They don't get a piece of the bank's wire transfer fee. Why would they get a piece of the gas fees? Well, they're asking for it, and they made Coinbase Wallet take the feature off. And I was like, actually seriously insulted by that, and quite confused, to be fair. More than quite confused. In other news, because we've just got a few minutes left, and this is another thing that sort of struck me as incredibly odd this week. So in South Dakota, the governor, a woman named Governor Kristi Noem, signed an executive order last week, and it's an interesting executive order. It prohibited state employees from downloading third-party apps, specifically TikTok. So I'm reading this executive order, which I did, and you can. It's the South Dakota executive order from the governor. That begs the question, doesn't raise the question, begs the question. Excuse me, Governor Noem. Question, please? Tiny question. Are you telling me that the state employees of South Dakota are allowed to download whatever app they want on their state-issued devices now? And there's a reason you need to, by executive order, prohibit them from downloading TikTok? And you're scared about China? That's what you're scared about? State employees can download whatever app they want onto a state-owned device, and you're scared about TikTok. I don't know, folks. I don't know. What I do know is that you can hear more about that as I go at it with Seth Everett. Every Tuesday we drop another episode of Tech Stream with Shelly Palmer and Seth Everett. I hope you will subscribe to it. You can get it wherever your favorite podcasts are found: Apple, Spotify, Google, Amazon, etc., etc., etc. There's probably more to talk about in the continuing saga of Sam Bankman-Fried, or Sam Bankrun Fraud, or whatever they're going to call him now. It's really unfortunate what's gone on here. We had BlockFi declare bankruptcy this past week, and I think there'll be more. I know there will be more. It's very reminiscent in some ways of 2000 when the dot-com bubble burst. But it also feels worse than that in some ways, because the dot-com bubble burst for a lot of reasons, but the primary reason was that there was exuberance and investment in companies that had no chance of ever making any money. And as soon as investors figured out that the network effect is great for growth, but growth did not equate to profits, that the internet was going to be free, and a lot of the companies that were invested in were going to be having free services, and just wasn't enough advertising money to ever cover it. And it was unclear that the advertising business in 2000 was going to think that digital was a good idea. And also the tools to allow advertisers to purchase advertising and measure its efficacy meaningfully at scale really didn't exist in the very early days of Web 2. Just didn't. So it was hard to think about how this might play out. The dot-com bubble burst for a lot of reasons, but number one was the road to profitability, or path to profitability, was out of sync with the investments that had been made. That's not the case here. We've got Terra and Luna blowing up in May. You've got this fiasco with FTX, true fiasco. And this guy's a criminal. Like, he should go to jail. I don't know that he will. Will he? I don't know. Will the people that were around him go to jail? Should they? It's for a court of law to decide. But at the end of the day, absolutely, did this guy commit immense amount of fraud from what's been spoken about in the press, if you will, and also back channels. It's not just the press. It's not just the reporters. Actually, mainstream media has been very kind to Sam Bankman-Fried. I don't know why, but very kind. They're giving this guy a pass in a lot of ways. And either they don't understand the depth of this, or they don't understand what has happened. Maybe they do. That may be worse. But on Discord and on Twitter and in the small enclaves of individuals that I talk to who are really close to this, there's not one person who says, oh, yeah, it was a mistake. It wasn't a mistake. This was willful and horrifying. So the contagion, I think is what they're calling it, is pretty spectacular. Good news, the get-rich-quick types are going to go away. We'll see some regulatory hit hard. Maybe it'll be good for the industry. Maybe. The thing that I'm interested in was a news story I don't have a picture of, but you can easily find it. The thing that interested me the most this week: Indonesia is going to outlaw all crypto except for their CBDC. CBDC is a central bank digital currency. It is identical to the fiat currency issued by the central bank of the given country. So this is 100% fungible with their paper money. And this is like, there's no way around this. Is this like a foreshadowing of how governments are going to look at crypto as they bring their own crypto to the marketplace? And how will regulatory fit into that? Now, that gives us two possible futures that are on a path that diverge from one another pretty spectacularly. One is that there's a regulated blockchain-based or distributed ledger-based currency that replaces or lives in parallel with existing fiat currencies. Some blockchain system would live equally well with a SWIFT system, and cross-border funding would take advantage of both systems, and it would be dealer's choice. I can imagine that. If you know about reserve currencies and imports and exports, and you know how oil is paid for, this should make you think a little bit for a second about like what the reserve currency of the United States is, what it's for, how us being the world's reserve currency, how the US dollar being the world's reserve currency impacts all of us and impacts the financial system. And then I think to myself, all right, let's say that the governments decide that their cryptocurrency is the cryptocurrency and super highly regulates stablecoins or makes them illegal, and decides that all other crypto is not to be used for goods and services for the transacting of business. I don't think you can put this toothpaste back in the tube. I don't think you're going to make Bitcoin go away. I don't even know how you could. It would be, I guess it could be done, but I'm not quite sure how. How could you make Ethereum go away? How could you turn off the Ethereum virtual machine worldwide? People are going to transact in crypto, whether the governments like it or not. Now, will it be legal? If it's illegal, what exactly will they have to do to the public internet to police your crypto transactions? Something to think about on a Wednesday that's balmy here in New York City, but a little bit wet and a little bit cold. Chill in the air, if you will. So, look, I don't know how the future is going to go any more than anybody else, but I am fascinated by the way that governments are looking at cryptocurrency. I am heartbroken by what Sam Bankman-Fried has done and what the amount of money people have lost. I'd love to make jokes about it. You can't make a joke about this. This is real money that real people lost, and a lot of it. It is ultimately good for the industry writ large because it's going to clear out the riffraff, but it is heartbreaking for the people who are on the wrong side of that trade. And so let's see how this all plays out. I'd watch this more carefully now than ever before. We'll see how many companies survive and how many don't. We're going to learn a lot about smart contracts and how they are used moving forward. And I'm actually very, very bullish on a whole bunch of different things. Now, next week, I think we will be back in session for the season finale of Web3 Wednesday. Then I'm off to the holidays and CES, and we'll pick up after the holidays. But anyway, in case I don't see you beforehand, please accept my very, very best wishes for a healthy and happy holiday season and a safe and healthy New Year. Oh, okay, not next week, 12/21. Joey's got me corrected. I take it all back. I'm completely lying. We will not be here next week. We will be here on 12/21, but we will keep in touch via email because, that's what we do. We keep in touch via email. Don't forget to tweet. Do not forget your POAP. POAPs are important. Do not forget to tweet, and do not forget your POAP. And with that, I will say thank you all very, very much. I look forward to seeing you on the 21st of December, just pre-Christmas. All the best, everyone.